Hey guys, Vaughn here with the Vonster vlog and welcome to another week on the homestead. So there's just a whole mess of stuff to get done today, y'all. I'm gonna get this camera flipped around so I can show you what's up. So I turned this bed, which we topped off with a whole mess of straw and rabbit poop in like December or maybe even January, I'm not certain. But it's mostly broken down pretty well. It's still a lot of straw there on top, so I've opened up one of the bags of peat hummus or I don't know what it is. It slipped over so I can't read it, but whoo-wee. So yeah, that will hopefully give us a little bit more soil just there on top for something for the roots of the strawberries to hold on to. So I'm gonna get this whole bed planted because it's got this chicken wire frame over it that I'm still really pleased with. And then yeah, let's get to it. Well, there's one. Oh my goodness. Wow. Ooh. Oh my goodness. Well, yeah. I'm really glad to be finally putting in a strawberry bed. Well, I could have done with getting one more plant, but I think that'll be all right. And we've got some moldy strawberries in this one. We've got the strawberries planted and watered. That's 20 strawberry plants in a 4-foot by 8-foot bed, and I think that'll do just fine. We may end up putting, like, in future years, making another strawberry bed so that we might divide these ones, but that's for future me to worry about. Present me just wants to eat more of those strawberries. So we'll see how that goes. But I'm very hopeful that this A-frame will do a decent job of keeping the birds and such out. But I do think we're going to have to put some bug netting over this to keep the, cabbage moths off. Because I'd rather not spray, mostly just because out of laziness, it's a lot easier to just put some bug netting and be done than to have to be spraying and still keeping an eye. You know, all the chemical and stuff aside. Dude, yo, look at this. Look at that cool little spider web just glistening in the sunlight. This is one of my favorite times of day, I do think. When most of the backyard is in shade, but the sun's cutting through at an angle. The grapevine is doing really well. Coming back, you can see all that new growth on it. And I'm hoping that once we get it climbing onto the pergola, that we'll be able to get it really going this year. So it can just take over. So this is what it's looking like now. We'll see what it looks like in another month or 2 or 3 or 8. Y'all, first hummingbird of the season, right there. Oh my god. Ah, first hummingbird. Well, first that I've seen at least. Oh, I'm so happy. I'm so glad I filled up my feeders. Bye-bye, little buddy. Oh, yee. I'm so excited. So this is one of my spinaches that I'd started from seed and then transplanted. Those pansies are doing real good. And I'm just going to be harvesting. Of course, I didn't bring a tripod out with me. And of course, my legs are just shot. Like I've been squatting all day, it feels like. That's all right. I think I need to get more of those cheap hair clips for clipping this netting up and back out of the way. So that there, no, and it's still not. There we go. Just pinning it behind. Whoop. Oh, that's all right. I needed to rinse them off anyways. And I kind of want to take this center floret completely out. I'm just going to see what's up with that. And then I want to go do the same thing to 2 more plants. So now I'm over here. And I'm going to try to pull back this netting to expose some dandelions. And don't worry, all this is going to get rinsed real well. But this has been grown in the backyard. And I'm actually just going to take a whole... I didn't bring any scissors out with me. I'm going to set it on the other side of my basket so I'm not getting everything all dirty. But yeah, I want to try out some... These may be bitter. But, well, if I don't eat them now, they're just going to get even more bitter. So we're going to go in and have us a salad and some homemade cheeseburgers. We've got some little tadpoles swimming. Just doing their thing. Very cool. So it is trash day. Trash runs today, and the can isn't completely full, so I'm going to try to pick up 2 pieces of trash at once. Boom, got it. And it's so windy here, and the fence line just catches everything. So I'm going to be getting through with my little grabby stick and pulling out all the trash. Hey guys, it is in between live streams right now, in between our main live stream and our after party, and I wanted to show y'all this beautiful sunset. So first off, check out these fuchsia, if it'll focus. It's so windy today, but I just love the golden glow of the sun cutting in at that low angle. You can see it hitting the clouds. It's gonna be a wonderfully beautiful sunset, I do believe. Good morning, guys. It is another day on the homestead, and I wanted to take y'all on a, oh my God. Where's it at? Where'd it go? Oh, he flew off. Dang it, there was a hummingbird and I saw him. Okay, so I wanted to take y'all on a walkabout here on the homestead to see what's up. We've had a lot of new members as well, but new subscribers to the channel. So I want to say hey to everybody who's new. If this is your first time stopping by, I'm Yvonne Williams, usually with Back to Earth Creations. That's our main channel where we do like tutorials and stuff. But we also have our house is on a 1/4 acre right here in town where we live, and we grow food on it. And I wanted to share that experience with y'all. So let's have a walkabout. And oh, we're in zone 6B too. I think that's pertinent information for like gardening and stuff. So let's get the camera flipped around so I can show you guys what is up. And also, cheers. Thank you so much for joining us here today. Okay, there's so much going on. Let's get this flipped. Okay. Ooh, that's so super zoomed in. That's pretty though. So this is a fuchsia plant. Randy loves these. Like, this is his one pick. This and Thai basil. I mean, he could have way more picks than that, but those are kind of the only things he's super concerned with. Is let's actually zoom back in. Because look at how beautiful those, actually not blurry in real life, flowers are. Just stunning. Okay, yeah, that's way too blurry. Sorry. Still trying to learn how to be a decent camera person. Now the thing is it loves full shade and it's a little dry. So, and I didn't bother repotting it. It's in the same exact pot that it was in. And we have it just hung on chains. Our poor house. Our poor house needs painted and reset. It needs rebuilt from the ground up, basically. But I think this one, the roots are, well, they're starting to come back. It's got a little bit of growth right here. But this was... Callie had put a mouse. She had caught a mouse outside, brought it in, put it in my tote that I was keeping all of these in, and then proceeded to treat that as like a personal obstacle course while we were gone for a weekend, and completely destroyed the succulents that were in that tote. Like, just knocked everything. But I mean, she was having fun, so I don't mind. And they're very resilient. So this one actually has, that's fake, that's silk floral. This one's doing pretty good. Hopefully this hen will start sending out chicks soon. And this one, again, the sedum, I don't know how to maintain it. I think it needs a little bit more, like maybe cleared out or something. But we've got this one doing pretty good. Ooh, that old growth, but it's growing off the tip there, so maybe we'll go like that. I don't know. And then these guys are doing great. So that's just fantastic. Ooh, look at this one. I need to trim it down. Like, I could just cut the stem right there and kind of replant it, especially since it's growing from the base again. Same on this one to keep them from getting too leggy. Oh, there's another little flower. You know, I'll leave it. Why not? But yeah, this hen's sending out bunches of chicks. So we'll see if we can propagate more of that. What's up, baby girl? Come on out. Oh, I'm locked out. I can't. I'd let you out, but I'm locked out. I'm sorry. And there's the dogs. My bad. So here are the petunias, and I'm too short to see. Yo, it's just me, boys. I'm locked out, and I don't have any keys. Like, so there's the petunias, and I'm too short to see if the strawberries that got planted in these hanging pots are doing anything at all. But honestly, I had given up on them. So, ooh, coffee. So it is what it is. I'll probably need to water these guys again today, but the Gomphrena, the thyme never did very well. This whole cell pack here of the, like, I don't think I'm going to use these compostable, like this material again. It dries out too quickly and it wicks too much moisture away. So there's the toothache plant. Our oregano is just not doing very well. The Thai basil and Gomphrena is though. So I have been saving all of the plastic like pots and everything for like years, and I think I'm gonna just keep doing that instead of buying the little cell trays that don't really hold up that great. Oh, that was something that we did. We trimmed down the forsythia bush, and it looks pretty rough, but we're gonna keep whittling on it. That's that bush there in the corner. Forsythia flowers on, like, this year's flowers were on last year's growth, so I want to keep it kind of pruned back short every year. There's a grackle on the suet block. I want to learn how to make my own suet and to see if that's actually more cost efficient than buying the suet blocks. But these guys, we definitely need to get transplanted into the ground. We have a whole bunch of calendula. The black-eyed Susans are doing pretty well. Bachelor buttons are doing really well. And again, I just wanted to let them get enough of a root development. The snapdragons, oh, we got maybe a little bit. That was seed from 2016 though. But here we have some pink and white dandelions. I love dandelions. They are like my most favorite wildflower. They're, ever since I was a kid, I loved petting them and like eating them, like, and dressing myself in them. But absolutely love them. And they're so good for the soil. They help with compaction. They help bring calcium up and redistribute it through their leaves. Very nutritious, very delicious. We had a rose. The first rose is dying, but we've got another bud there on these rose bushes, which I desperately need to prune here in the front. I'm going to go through this morning and get another grow bag bucket, another 15 gallons or 10 gallons of weeds, like just the chickweed and stuff. Especially right over here is a really good patch of chickweed to harvest from. Like, let's go take a closer look at that. And well, before we do that, I wanted to show you the rest of the petunias. Hummingbird feeders. We've been seeing hummingbirds, which I'm so excited about. So there's this one here. And then this one's not doing so well. This is the pot that I spilled on accident. Because you'll notice it has a very flat butt, or round butt, whereas the other planters have a very round butt. So those ones didn't get spilled, but I'm pretty pleased with the grow bags so far. I really need to do something with that pot right there. But we trained up this rose, and let's see what's going on in this bed here. I really think I'd like to do some different flowers and stuff in these beds. This might, y'all, I think I might do the Gomphrena planted here into the front flower beds around the house, because I think it would hold up really well. But we've got some asters right there at the base of the roses, and then the rest of this is just daffodils, kind of dying back. So I'd like to plant something in there. And we have a butterfly bush in there that should be making a comeback. I pruned it back again pretty heavily just because we had a really deep frost that kind of killed everything 2 years ago. So, like, yeah, we'll need to clear out this dead bush. We've got these boxwoods. That rose needs pruned. These boxwoods are doing really good though. And that guy, I mean, is still kind of alive, but we'll see. We may need to just prune it back. But right here, we could plant a whole bunch of the Gomphrena, and I actually think it would hold up really well. So in this bed, and then in the bed around the base of the black walnut. Yeah, there's a bird. It makes me so happy that the birds in the garden have gotten so used to me walking around babbling at my camera that they're like, yeah, that bitch is crazy, but no threat here. So, so let's go on around to, yeah, I'm going to show you guys. I don't even know what kind of, there's still so much junk on the front porch. I don't even know if that chair will hold our weight anymore because it's gone, the wood's deteriorating. But yeah, here you can see, this is the chickweed. And They have these super cute little flowers. That one's just starting to set. But the chickens just absolutely love it. So I'm going to take that little pinch and we're going to go on around. But yeah, whenever it's high like this, I like to come through, especially after the rain, and just get almost 2 bags a day for the chickens. Y'all, you'd be so proud of us. We finally tidied up the crystal tables we really need to, along this side of the house, I'd really love to be able to splice in the gutter to where it's feeding into barrels that, just for kind of retaining water. I'm going to need to dig up these irises because it's too deep a shade on the side of the house. Because you can see the house provides shade until high noon. And then these trees, once they've fleshed out, this side just doesn't get a whole lot of water except for right here up against the house. And it doesn't get a whole lot of sunlight. So I'll be able to scavenge those stepping stones. I hear you, Ember. But again, I'm still locked out of the house. I'd like to, I don't know what I want to do over here. If we had a goat, this is where I would put the goat. So, I don't know. Maybe we'll keep, ooh, look at these flowers. What is that? What are you, plant? Growing here amongst the rebar. Let's see. It looks like a hyacinth. It really, like, I can't smell it from here and I don't want to pick it. No, that's not a hyacinth. The leaves aren't, maybe it is. Shoot, I don't know. That is a hyacinth. If that's a hyacinth, I gotta pick one and sniff it. That is not a hyacinth. What is that? It's pretty. It's so pretty. I love it. Not a hyacinth though. So I'm gonna go give a flower to Callie and give some stuff to the chickens. So my hands are getting full. Like in my camera hand at this time. I have some chickweed, a cup of coffee, and the camera tripod. Okay, I'll take the coffee. There we go. So let me go into full-on garden mode. So here is, Randy had actually said that we can put a pond here again, which I think would be amazing. So I think we're gonna try to, I'm gonna get all the pots and everything over there sorted out, and kind of put a little bit more planning into it this time than what I did last time, like 9 years ago when we first moved in. But I'm gonna leave these hostas here, these two, undivided this year. I'll divide them next year, I think. But I did go through, and these two, this hosta and this hosta, are transplants from, and I'll show you who I divided. I could put something right there in that empty spot, like right in here, but we'll see. We'll see how the stuff comes out. But it was over here that one's going to need divided as well, this hosta here. But it was right here. We had dug up some of the hostas, like, last night actually, and of all the stuff, this was the hardest thing. Of all the stuff I've been doing in the garden lately, this was the hardest thing, was digging up those two hostas, because there were so many rocks and just oof. And I was only able to get it from 2 of the sides instead of, usually I can at least get it through 3 sides, of access. But so those hostas got transplanted again back in that corner, and then over under the lady in the tree over yonder by that chair. So I know I'm zoomed out super far, but maybe if I click that, you can see her. And again, there's just so much junk. There's so much water damage here on the back of the house. I think putting a gutter in would help, but there's just so much. There's so much that I don't even know where to begin. I get so overwhelmed. Oh, speaking of being overwhelmed, this is all the growth that we've cleared. We did some tree pruning and different things like that. So let's just keep going down the side and I'll take you guys around. So I'm gonna water the hostas this morning because they never got watered in last night. I was transplanting them with a headlamp on. Headlamp and tiki torches is how I roll. The coleus is doing pretty good. These lilies are taking off, y'all. And I think I'm gonna take this bug netting down, or the bird netting. That way I don't know, I think it would just look a little tidier not having it. And I'll just put it back up in the winter if I start letting the chickens back out again. Because I'd really like to try to maintain crops through the winter this year. So again, our asters, that's either an aster or a chamomile. I think it's an aster. But these guys transplanted so well. I'm very, very pleased with that. I need to trim back the Virginia creeper just because it will take over everything. At first I didn't mind it because I love like trailing vines and stuff, but no, it's become a problem. Just because it won't just grow up the fence, it also has to take over the flower bed. And I tried to reason with it and there was no reasoning with it. So just coming through and clipping the stems at the base. Now's the good time to do that. So that'll be something to do on today's list. Ooh, the lemon balm. Had one lemon balm plant had split up into 3. So that was one. That was, yeah, nope. That was one behind the coleus. And then that was one center screen back there. Those are some irises I transplanted. Randy's lilies he picked out. The asters and chamomile. Like there are some weeds. Definitely there's always some weeds. But that mint's gonna keep taking over too, I think. Like, oh, and we've got some bee balm over there. So unfortunately that glass bowl broke. It had ice in it and the expansion finally got to it. But I want to see if I can't fuse it back down into other things. That might be pretty cool. I've rinsed those lava rocks. Let me sit some stuff down real quick. Oh, my hand's cramped from holding. Well, I hope the chickens still want it because let's go do this real quick and then I'll meet you guys back over at the pond. So I'm gonna come over this way. Oh, there goes my hat. I hear you, girls. Let me give little Miss Callie a flower. Hey, baby girl. I miss you. There she goes. And, ooh, this stuff's doing pretty good. We'll get to that in a sec. You gotta wait your turn, plants. Man, something keeps coming through and popping the heads off of my flowers. Oh well, it'll be fine. See, again. What the heck? Alright, so chicken cam. Like, this isn't bugs at all. She's like, I rubbed my nose on your flowers. Well, there you go. Spoiled rotten is what they are. Okay. Oh, that was another thing. Okay, we'll get there. We'll get there. Okay. So now that we've done that, I still really want to build a little fountain. We think we're going to take some flagstones and just drill with like a stone bit through them to make like a part where the tube can come up through, and then stack them and, well, run the tube and have the solar pump hook up to that. That way we can have a waterfall instead of just this burbling thing. And when we do that, we'll be putting the solar pump either into a grow bag full of lava rocks, or I found a very affordable and something that looks like it'd be a little bit easier to clean. What is it? Like just a pump box for a pond. Just a little one. It was like 20 bucks on Amazon, I think. But we're still waiting to see how our next shop update goes before I spend any more money. So here we have some Creeping Jenny, or Creeping Charlie, or whatever it's called. But it's pretty. And I love those purple flowers. I would be happy if this took over my entire yard. To see here, right here. This is that Virginia creeper. Just creeping about. And it really does take over everything. So, very cool quartz crystal from when we went digging. Some wild violets. Right here we did have some bee balm, which looks very much like this plant here. But we transplanted, because it's always spreading, which is perfect because I need stuff that propagates. So we transplanted it to right over there, and I'll show you guys when we get there. Again, oh, I'm gonna just let this creepy stuff take over the entire bed. But here we've got a whole bunch of mint. Oh, I wish y'all could smell that with me. That smells so good. And then I don't know what these are, but they're little weeds. We'll see how it goes. There's a rock compliment of my chickens. They kick the rocks everywhere, and I don't do any sort of masonry or anything with the rocks because I want to be able to just rearrange at my leisure. And again with these pokeberry, just pulling those. Some lilies coming up, they're doing real good. Okay, and a black walnut, we're gonna have to weed that out. So it's constantly oh, the stars of Bethlehem are blooming. That's so nice. Like, I mean, it's an invasive weed, but all the clumps of green that are like trimmed down real short right now, those are Star of Bethlehem, and they like cluster. The roots are like, they're not to be this way, but they're kind of I'm not going to say they're a useless flower, but they're not edible. I can't eat them. My chickens and rabbits can't eat them. I don't know if I've ever seen a bee on one, and they're not native to the area. So as much as I try to pull them up, they still just, I mean, like this whole area isn't grass. It's Star of Bethlehem. So I take it, I guess. But so here we did have this long bed. Let me zoom back out. And I'm actually going to sit the camera down because I've probably made y'all seasick. So, and I'm going to sit in the shade for a minute and enjoy this beautiful day while I chat your ear off about this dang old flower bed. So we did have a nice long bed here that has the grape down at this end, and it did have a grape here on the far left end as well, but it didn't survive because I don't know, things just get really overgrown in that corner, and it was a really difficult corner for me to reach for weeding. And that's something that I've learned. I've become a lot more realistic about how far I'm actually able to reach into a bed. And it's like I have an arm span of like, if I'm at the edge of a bed, I can reach about 1.5 feet in before I just topple tea over kettle, or however that saying goes. So I've started going through and thinning down some of the thicker parts of the beds, because like over here on this pond bed, it is so hard. Like I just have to get into the bed. So I try to not put anything in there that's like delicate and isn't going to hold up well to getting stepped on and tromped over and stuff. So getting into this corner to weed in this bed, which is very necessary, but was very difficult to do, was just, so we'll trim it back to where those big white stones are. And I'm just been moving the soil into here. You can see we're adding in kind of a bit of a berm that's where I'm going to be planting, and then the rest is pathway. So I think I'm going to be doing beans in them first, but we'll see how everything goes. Trying to keep all those obedient plants. They are not obedient at all, you guys. Oh, the lily of the valley is flowering. Let's zoom in on that. Oh, I'll have to go give it a sniff. But that hosta's there doing okay. Like, it suffers a bit in the summer when it's very, very hot, but I'm hoping that once the pergola gets taken over by grapes, that will be in shade, and I'll need to actually transplant those lilies. But man, those are pretty. I like those lilies a lot. Like, they look like they're happy and have a lot of room to grow. So over here by the chicken coop, we have Jerusalem artichokes, or sunchokes, which are a very, they make a very big plant. And then they put on a lot of flowers almost all at once that are very sunflower looking, but like smaller. And then we also have the mother plant of the Jerusalem artichokes over here. And that's where I dig and divide from every year. Moving forward, I planted those last year for the first time. So I dug up where those had spread to and planted them over here. And this fall, and through the winter, that bed is where I will be digging up and harvesting from. So that's kind of my plan with that stuff. Do the chickens even eat their own feed, or am I just feeding wild birds at this point? I think I'm just feeding wild birds at this point. It's fine. It's fine. I do love seeing the wild birds come by though. But our dwarf cherry tree was flowering. I think it still has a few flowers on it. And then we had planted lilies that we had transplanted from here because it had gotten super root bound. The lilies had there, if you'd seen in previous weeks, it had gotten super duper root bound. And we dug all that up and transplanted them along there and along that long front west bed. So that center frame here is the front west bed. This is the back west bed. This is the pergola bed. So this was the pergola bed, but it's getting, again, transitioned. So let's go back around and see. Let me get the camera situated. There we are. So here we have our grape plant. Ooh, who's sending up a little bit more new growth here that we'll train up. We have some very sad looking marigolds. It's okay, you can do it, plant. I believe in you. Some hens and chicks. Because she was she's sending out some chicks. This will be good. I want her to take over. We have some lemon and German thyme. Oh, it smells so good. Oh my gosh. One of my favorite things to do in the world, y'all, is to just like waddle around in my backyard sniffing stuff. So fun. Thai basil over here on this side, but that will probably get shadowed out by this beautiful butterfly bush that Randy got me. Now, it's not one of the bicolor ones, but I thought that vibrant purple would just be so, so pretty. Tiki torch. I love tiki torches, you guys, but look at these grapes. The big old leaves. And it's growing up, up, up. Perfect. I can't wait. Once this one gets a little bit longer, I'm going to train it up onto these are hog panels on the top of this pergola. So another Hummingbird feeder there. We have some 4 o'clocks planted in that pot right there. I'm really hoping we can get our hands on some mulch, but we'll see. We haven't been able to yet. We haven't been able to find anything that's like reasonably priced. This stuff gets away. These pokeberries get away from me so much, and the plants get massive. So I need to stay on top of that. But yeah, let's take a waddle through. We need to return the bins to Izzy's rabbitry. That's who we've been getting all of this poop from that I've just been dumping directly where I'm going to be planting, that you can see here. I am going to put some soil and sand on top, quite possibly, to give better drainage. Normally I like to let the poop break down for like over the winter, but Bunny's going to keep pooping. So there's the Jerusalem artichokes. This is like directly in the path, but gives you an idea of where the path is. Oh yeah, so the flowers are a little spent, but still beautiful. Here's some cute little ones coming up. So this is a sour cherry, and you can see it's got Virginia creeper growing real dense here in the corner, and that's just difficult because I mean, this tree's had a very hard time because I should not have planted it in a corner like this, because again, I'm not able to harvest from 2 sides of it. It's very difficult to reach from the alley, and I don't like standing in the neighbor's yard. So here's the bee balm that I've transplanted that is looking very sad. Looks like a chicken maybe came and laid on it, but this one's doing good though. This one right here, some dandelions. Some more of those sunchokes with their soft, not quite lamb's ear leaves, but I like it. And then here, we have the lilies and basil, marigold, basil, marigold, basil, marigold, basil, marigold, basil, marigold, all the way down. I'm going to leave this spot right here bare because, again, trying to stay on top of weeding. That's actually going to be a sunflower. I think I'll leave it. But yeah, I just want to be able to stay on top of weeding. And again, I'm going to need to get back here to trim some of that stuff, more of that Virginia creeper. We trimmed the yew and juniper bushes back aggressively, just so that we could use, because we couldn't plant in any of this spot right here. Little baby Callie And then we like to come back here and sit and hang out. I've got another little sort of bird bath water feeder there. And then here we have more marigolds. This is likely where I'm going to be planting my calendula as well. Basically anywhere that a marigold doesn't survive, I'll just be putting in calendula. But yeah, sunchokes. So those will get real big and provide some lovely afternoon shade between this bed and that bed, because that bed shades this area during the sunset. So it should provide some really nice cover for the critters. Ooh, there's some sort of volunteer squash plant. So it's probably an acorn squash or something. So I'm going to leave it, let it do its thing. And more sunflowers, because we feed the chickens a scratch blend and layer crumbles and black oil sunflower seeds and soldier fly grubs. And they'll kick, and the black oil sunflower seeds will sprout and make a really nice line of sunflowers behind the Jerusalem artichokes. So, and then here's a view from this side. I'm really loving the pergola. It's so nice to have. I mean, we don't have a big backyard, but but by having so many zones, it makes it seem very large. So again, 1/4 of an acre, you guys. Like, this is not a ton of land, but I mean, we're using it to our best ability. So we've got, again, Virginia creeper, which at first I was like, oh, it's beautiful, and then like it's just taking over. So that's a raspberry. We have some more bee balm. We have Thai basil. This entire length of bed that you can see the marigolds, in between every single marigold is a Thai basil plant, kind of in between but back set a little bit. So again, we've got more of that creeping Jenny that I would love, because look at this as a beautiful ground cover, you guys, with these perfect little purple flowers. And it just pops up and does its own thing, and it spills over the edge of the rocks, and it's perfect. I'm going to let this grow everywhere. And then we'll pull some, these are lamb's quarters, which the chickens and rabbits do like. And they are edible, like they're an edible greens. Like, people are like, oh, it's a superfood. And I'm like, I'd rather turn it into eggs, just because it's not my favorite. Like, I'd rather just grow, spinach or something, or kale, or dandelion greens. So to each their own, but I like to get some handfuls. Nutmeg knows what's up. I'm gonna put it over the fence for you. Yay. And then they proceed to ignore it. That's fine. Is there a spider? No, it's just a bug. Okay. Because I love it whenever the spiders start weaving their webs, because we get orb weavers out this way. But yeah, so there's that. More of the raspberries. We're trying to keep it. I'm so glad we were able to get it pruned back this year, because now we can run. It's going to be so much easier to harvest. I need to trim this little thing back just because, oh, well, it's already been snipped. We'll go put it into the burn pile. And then a little bit of shade here. That's okay. We transplanted those. That's a transplanted raspberry. That's a transplanted raspberry. I planted some borage along the back. Ooh, we got one of the gladioli that we planted last week, y'all. Those are starting to poke up and through. Oh, I love that wind chime. We bought that wind chime the day before Callie died. And I feel like it's just a beautiful little reminder of loving her, to have that. So every time I hear it, it's just does my heart good. I don't know what that stuff is growing up, but our daffodils are starting to die back. I don't know if I'm going to plant anything else on that side of the bed. Just because anything that I do is going to make it hard to reach the raspberries, but I do really want to plant stuff. We could probably put some mint there just for shits and giggles. So let's take this to the burn pile. So yeah, we transplanted some more hostas and added some soil, because this bed, you can see, suffers some pretty serious erosion. So I think I want to put in something, maybe build up this wall right here, to make it more difficult for the soil to erode. But just keeping it covered with mulch can do a whole lot. Oh my gosh, I had no idea that that had broken. Wow, that's crazy. That's a new development. I hope she doesn't fall backwards. I'm gonna have to have Randy help me with her because she's heavy. But the alliums. So yeah, I just want to sit here for just a sec and share the garden view with you guys, because it's like I love to lay here because this is one of those Zeograv recline chairs. This is like one of my favorite spots, especially in the morning, because I still have the shade from the neighbor's big evergreens. And in the summer, the leaves are so big and heart-shaped, and it's just beautiful. Nice deep shade. And so I'll usually, like, I've put strategic, Randy and I have both put strategic sitting spots. So like that's usually our quest hub. So sitting under the pergola is our quest hub, and that's where we'll sit, like all of our drinks and like tools and stuff. And then from there we'll go and, like, let's say we're reading this bed, so we'll work that way. And then we usually have a seating area over underneath the aerial rigging. Or let's say we work the other way, and so we've got that sitting spot over back by the chickens, and then we work our way up this way, and I've got this sitting spot here, which I'm really hoping, if I get good at sitting still and being quiet, that if we can get hummingbirds to come visit this bird feeder, this would just be such a perfect spot to spy on them. I love spying on birds. It's probably creepy and weird, but yeah, I'll sit here all day. As long as the mosquitoes leave me alone, which is just a perfect enough little bit of breeze today that I haven't gotten any mosquito bites today. Last night I got bit right in the middle of my forehead and took all of my willpower to not itch it, but here we are. So, but yeah, to just, by making these little zones, and then we also, there's our hammock. We love to sit in the hammock and enjoy the view from there. So by making some strategic sitting spots, it in different zones, it really helps, I think, to make the backyard seem significantly bigger. There's a lot going on in just a little bit of space. So let's take this raspberry cane over, to the burn pile that we're gonna have to take care of one of these days. Oop, there we go. Hopefully sooner than later. But yeah, these alliums. I love that little ceramic mushroom that Randy got me. But once these are going to be full, like, big globes once they open up the rest of the way. I don't even remember planting those tulips, you guys. But we have some rosemary and marigolds there in the pot. I had moved this pot to over there. It has a solar light in it now. But we made this path wider too, because the idea is those lilies really need divided, but that'll be for next year, I think. So we widened this path because I want to be able to walk up this path here. We could probably do to plant something right there. But yeah, more obedient flower, lots of mint, lots of naked ladies. I want to put like a shepherd's pole of sorts into the ground here and come up, and it's like if we could look directly through and in line, like have like an eyesight that we can look through, and kind of over there down by Callie in the red bin, we could do a mirror. That way you could put your eye up to it, and it would be long and narrow enough that it would be like looking through a telescope, and there'd be a mirror down there, and in between, like lining up your sights, would be a like one of those pinwheels that catches the wind, so that I'm thinking when we look through it, it could be like a kaleidoscope that just looking from one end of the yard to the other. But whenever you're at any other point in the yard than right here, they just look like standalone yard ornaments. So I thought that would be pretty cool. We pruned back a little bit of the red bud to make room to make it easier to walk right here, but this is one of the beds that I was talking about where it's just so hard to reach in to weed it. Now granted, we planted it in a way that it doesn't need a whole lot of weeding, but still it's nice to be able to access stuff. So that comes around, and then here we have our little side garden mint bed that I need to prune that rose bush, and I'm going to be taking up, there's some red paver stepping stones going from here to over there. We haven't used that in years, so I'm going to remove the stepping stones, plant a whole line of like mammoth sunflowers, because you can see this side of the house, that's our main craft room right there, where Randy and I sit all day for the most part, and I really want some shade, and I think those sunflowers will just do phenomenally right there. And then we have it so densely planted with mint that I pinch back and give the pinchings to the rabbits. Oh no, the neighbor's puppies destroyed their pillow, you guys. Like, they've got such cute little doggos, and they just lay there in the sun, and they're adorable, and there's fluff everywhere. Oh my gosh, they're so cute. I can't handle puppies. They're too cute. Okay, so now there's a lot going on, you guys. Let's go ahead, and I'm just going to go over a brief... No, I'm not. We're going to do it bed by bed. Here we go. Here is our strawberry bed. Let me actually check what time it is, because I'm supposed to be doing... Okay, I got time. Our strawberry bed, y'all. So we have... Ooh, that's a little one that looks like it needs harvested. We've got some flowers getting set. There's another one that's ripening up right in there. So I'm so excited that we finally have strawberries in a spot where the chickens will not be able to get to them. So very good. This bed still needs planted. This one, the onions are doing much better than I thought they would. We have all of these onion sets coming up. That one's still got a little bit of the paper on it, but you can see only and I replaced the lavender that didn't make it with a much smaller, but seems to be doing better, or it's not flowering yet, but it's doing just as well as the other two. But yeah, this is just all onions. We've got our Job's tears over there in the corner that seem to have transplanted well. I desperately need to weed the cabbage beds, because you can see I don't even know what that is. It looks like, yeah, I have no idea what that is, but we need to weed it because it's looking green. But it's also a pretty nice living mulch, so I may leave it because I'll take mulch. But yeah, cabbages are doing great. The parsley and pansies are doing great. I love it. We got a wild something. I don't know if we'll keep that yet. We'll see. Here are the Egyptian walking onions. They're starting to set bulbs. I went ahead and put a little cover over our parsley because rabbits kept getting it. But here we have our rosemary. That right there is a rosemary. I don't even know what that noise is. I'm just pulling some weeds. So I don't know if that one made it. So we'll see. That's another rosemary. I'm gonna see. That's a rosemary. Okay, I put a little stick next to some of them, so yeah, that one, maybe that's the rosemary. Let me get this little weed out of the way. Yeah, those are rosemaries. They're so tiny, but it's okay. They'll grow. Our sage is doing really well. It's setting flowers. And then here we have our salad bed. Some of these wires I made a little too high up, so they are sinking really easily. So I'll just push that in a little bit more. But yeah, ooh, radishes. Another squash that I didn't plant, that's fine. So those dandelions are doing great too. One of y'all had asked why on earth I would transplant dandelions. And it's because dandelions send down such a deep tap root. It makes channel ways for worms to travel and bring nutrients up. They're delicious, they're edible. I'd rather have dandelions than crabgrass, which is the main thing that likes growing in our yard and that I've been battling for a decade. So for the first time in like a week, let's go check on the grow bags because I am super concerned. We've got just a little bit more soil, peat humus and cow manure and compost to fill up a few more grow bags, and then I'll be able to bring over the rest of the cages. So I haven't planted these two yet, but we have in each of these so far is just marigolds and sweet potatoes. And I haven't watered these since putting them in, so you can kind of tell. But I mean, it did rain. Oh yeah, the soil's still nice and moist. I'd love to get some mulch on these. We'll see how that goes because I bet that will help. But I'd like to plant cucumbers, like put cucumber seeds, like probably 3 of them, boop, boop, and boop, and put the cage back on it and let the cucumbers grow up and let the sweet potato vines travel out and around. And the marigolds were just in there because I needed to get them planted before they died and before it rained for like a week. So, but we're gonna have grow bags across here and grow bags all along here that I'm likely on this side. It's very likely I'm going to do tomatoes. So we'll see how that goes. And depending on the grow bag situation, we got a bunch of them. We did a bulk order. So gosh, that's such the most beautiful and perfect little dandelion. I love the petals, little tips of the petals. It's just such beautiful flowers. But yeah, we might continue to do grow bags up this way, basically up to where it's shaded, and yeah, we'll just see how that goes. So I'm really excited that those aren't dead. That's cool. So yeah, the cherry tree has fully leafed out now. This one has. That one's not doing so great. It's competing, it's overshadowed very much by the red bud. But it is what it is. Still produces fruit, so back down that way, and that is the garden. So that's what we've been up to, you guys. I lost my coffee at some point. I don't know where I set it down, so I'm gonna go find my coffee, and I will see y'all. Oh my goodness. I'll see y'all later today. Like, the vlog's not over. We still have the rest of today and tomorrow, and I have no idea what I'm up to. So let's see what adventure awaits us. Y'all, check this out. It's a little hummingbird butt. I'm gonna see if I can't zoom in just a little more. And there he goes. And there is a blue jay that just landed in a tree over here. I don't know if you can see him. Oh, there he goes. Up onto one of those branches. But this is what I've been doing all evening. I did about 20 minutes of weeding, and then I realized that we had some hummingbird activity, and so I've been camped out here on the hammock spying on birds, and it's been delightful. Good morning, guys. We are back out here on the homestead. I'm hanging out with my funny bunnies, and I wanted to show you guys what we've been up to. And so yesterday, oops, I actually put the shade cloth over the chicken enclosure, just because, I mean, it's not the heat of summer yet, but it does make it a lot nicer, and happy birds make for happy me. And so here you can see an inside view of how the Jerusalem artichokes are framing this bed. So I did the dominant portion of the shade cloth here on the east side, where this is the fence where I usually lean like the wheelbarrow and my tools up against. So over here, these Jerusalem artichokes, like, I bet you in about 2 months they'll have figured up, we'll see. Hopefully in 2 months, by the time it is real hot, they'll be providing significant shade. So like this way, we're facing south right this second. So with the western bed and the southern bed, I think that should provide some really nice shade for the critters. So I'm also about to give my rabbits some. We have some sweet potato and lettuce ends that I'm going to give to the rabbits, and then I have some cornbread that's just been sitting in the fridge, and I figured we'd rather eat it fresh than like 4-day-old fridge cornbread. So I'm going to give some cornbread to the chickens. Rise and shine. Where's 3? Where is Nutmeg Puppy? Come on, I hear you in there. Laying an egg. I'm getting you, girl. Ooh, didn't mean to get you. Hey, Nutmeg. Welcome to the party. There we are. So we trimmed up around Bay's vent, and I think that's helped a whole lot. Now she's still not completely 100% around her vent. Like, it may take some additional trimming, but we think we get in there right when they go to bed, so like there's still a little bit of daylight, and Randy holds the chicken, and I come in with the scissors and just try to tidy her up. Now that it doesn't get real cold at night anymore, I don't mind removing some feathers, but I am hoping that we can get everybody's vents nice and tidy. So yeah, we'll see how it goes, but we wanted to give her some time to do some of her own grooming and then see what else needed done. But no health problems or anything, just messy vents is all. So trying to get ahead of any health problems. Do y'all have any advice for messy vents on your hens? Like, is there something that I'm feeding them wrong? Like, I don't know. So I've tried feeding my birds out of feeders, by the way, my chickens, and they're spoiled. They just won't eat. Like, I tried getting them good and hungry and giving it to them in a feeder, and they kept just knocking it out of the feeder and then eating it off the ground. So here we are. Hey guys, it is the end of another week on the homestead. I want to thank our channel members so much for making a lot of what we do here possible. I'm just coming to put my chickens to bed, and I wanted to share, it is just a beautiful, it's been raining all day, y'all. Like check this real quick before I'm supposed to be in a hurry because there's like tornadoes or something coming, but I hope they don't get it. But ooch, tripped. But here you can see how much those Jerusalem artichokes have grown already, and I cannot wait to see how these guys grow. But storms are coming, so we're gonna get everything battened down. Thank you guys so much for being here, for hanging out during the premiere, and I will see y'all next Thursday. So until then, you guys keep on keeping on. Mwah. Bye. Y'all, there's a toad in my garden, and he's adorable. I see you there being a toad, little toad man. I love you.